Jim Hoops ENT presents super amazing film explanations. Welcome to the first episode of Super Amazing Film Explanations. In this episode, we will be covering Star Wars: A New Hope, a film that is simultaneously the first, fourth, and sixth film in the Star Wars film franchise. So the film opens with some reading, and then to Darth Vader's Star Destroyer firing on Princess Leia's ship and then capturing and boarding her ship. Why is it firing on her? Oh, nothing major. She just happens to have the stolen plans to the Empire's superweapon, the deathstar.
What have you done with those plans?
So remember that, kids. The first lesson we learn in the film is that good people can be thieves. Speaking of Leia, here's where we first see her. Look at those eyes. I don't know why, but something about them makes me think that she is the type of lady to make out with a guy, find out that he is her brother, and then not even think twice about it. But I don't know. But back to the point. While Leia and her ship have no way of escaping, her droids, with the Death Star plans, are able to escape to the planet Tatooine through an escape pod.
There goes another one.
Hold your fire. There's no life forms.
But things aren't smooth sailing from there on as the droids get captured by some Jawas. Now, of course, Jawas are inferior and stupid, as proven by their wearing of robes and inability to speak English. At least, that is what can be inferred by someone that watches Fox News. Speaking of which, I wonder what company produced this film. Jawas, being the thrifty little buggers that they are, quickly sell these droids to Owen Lars and his nephew Luke Skywalker. When you think about it though, it's kinda odd that these poor bums would buy droids. Literally, they are poor bums. They farm moisture on a desert planet. You can't really farm what is not present. That is like being a cactus farmer in the middle of the ocean. So yeah, Luke is pretty poor. Also, pay attention to his clothes.
Take these two over to the garage, will you? I want them cleaned up before dinner.
But I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
So as the day progresses, Luke gets acquainted with the droids and discovers through a hologram stored on R2-D2 that the droids need to be taken to a local hermit, who is also a witch, who also may be dead, by the name of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Strange old hermit.
That wizard's just a crazy old man. I don't think he exists anymore.
So obviously, Luke takes these droids to Obi-Wan the next day. And as would be expected of someone who is poor, by choice, by being a moisture farmer on a desert planet, Luke has a slick ride to get him there. He doesn't have a second pair of clothes to wear, but he has an awesome ride. Hashtag, sometimes poverty is a choice. Upon getting to Obi-Wan's domicile, Luke is attacked by the most creatively named species in all of science fiction, Sand People. And during this attack, Luke gets knocked unconscious. But luckily, none other than Obi-Wan comes by to save him. This is just me freestyling here, but I think Luke received a serious concussion. He goes on to believe every crazy and unsubstantiated claim made by Obi-Wan without second-guessing anything. And he is obviously and clearly concussed because he literally converts to a religion on the spot.
You must learn the ways of the Force. And the Force is what gives the Jedi his power. It's an energy field created by all living things. It surrounds us, it penetrates 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 us. It binds the galaxy together.
A religion that abides by the Force. Which, just for some context, this religion, over the course of the 3 original Star Wars films, has 5 followers in the entire galaxy, and they are Luke, 2 old white dudes, a cyborg, and a green pocket person with a brain defect that impairs his speech.
Father? I'll forget I was he.
The math just doesn't add up as the type of numbers we should expect for the one true religion. But back to Obi-Wan and Luke. Luke decides against helping take Obi-Wan to Mos Eisley and heads home. However, he finds the penny-pinching guardians of his aunt and uncle, dead by an attack by stormtroopers. So with nowhere to live, he decides to go with Obi-Wan to Mos Eisley. Too bad there wasn't someone with Luke who was able to sense an energy that binds all life together in the universe to warn him about this massacre. But that's life.
And the Force is what gives the Jedi his power. It's an energy field created by all living things. It surrounds us, it penetrates 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 us, it binds the galaxy together.
All in all, though, Luke recovers kinda quickly. As would be expected, why would a character be traumatized by the death of his surrogate parents and carry that sadness with him? Now, if someone's planet gets destroyed with everyone they loved on it, that is a time to mourn. But I digress. They get to Mos Eisley, get in a fight with one guy, cut off the arm of another guy, and take the word of an admitted smuggler and a hairy ape to buy passage to Alderaan.
We can pay you 2,000 now, plus 15 when we reach Alderaan.
17, huh? Okay, you guys got yourselves a ship.
Now here is something that gets overlooked by so many people, but is clear proof that the filmmakers created some social criticism regarding the poor. Luke, on a desert planet, puts on a Sharapa. The literal hero of multiple generations of young boys and girls cannot handle the cold weather on a desert that is the size of a planet. So clearly the Sharapa is a symbol of the weak-mindedness of the poor. The Sharapa in itself is also clear social criticism by the filmmakers that poor people are bad with money because only someone that is bad with money would buy a Sharapa on a desert planet. Here we can see Luke entering the smuggler Han Solo ship, the Millennium Falcon. You can see that he is carrying no luggage because he is wearing all the clothes that he owns, because he is poor. Shifting gears a bit, let's talk about the other main protagonist of the film, Princess Leia. While Leia will go on to inspire the deaths of trillions upon trillions of knuckle children over the decades, in this film, she is just a diplomat. But most importantly, she is stone cold savage. She witnesses the Empire destroy her home planet Alderaan, and after a few moments acts like nothing really happened and never speaks of it again. Almost like she is some sort of serial killer.
What?
But back to the guys. The real story. Yeah, I said it. Get over it. They find Alderaan destroyed, and they get pulled into the tractor beam of the Death Star.
Caught in a tractor beam that's pulling us in.
Through the tractor beam, the Millennium Falcon gets pulled into a landing bay on the Death Star. Yada yada yada, stormtroopers board the Falcon. Yada yada yada, Han and Luke knock out the stormtroopers.
Hey down there! Could you give us a hand with this?
Yada yada yada, they steal their uniforms. Yada yada yada, Luke finally gets to wear different clothes for the first time in God only knows when. Using R2-D2, Luke and Han discover Leia is being held in a detention block.
Level 5 detention block AA-23.
Notice how she is no longer a princess, because she no longer has a kingdom to rule over. She now has as many people to rule over as Luke has extra pairs of underwear. So they get down to the detention block and free her.
Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper?
Huh? Oh, the uniform.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
But they are unable to escape. So they go down a garbage chute into a garbage compactor. But boy oh boy, our heroes are in for some trouble in this garbage compactor. Because, as is perfectly logical, there is a water monster living in a garbage compactor inside of a space station. And to make things worse, Leia gets her clothes wet, and the compactor starts compacting. Luckily, R2-D2, who is clearly running on Android because he slowly but surely eventually gets the compactor to stop, and he opens the hatch for them all to escape. Our heroes then try and get back to the Millennium Falcon. This journey back to the Falcon clearly takes hours, as all the heroes, and most notably Leia, are completely dry by the time they return to the ship. Of course, along the way to the ship, they see Darth Vader and Obi-Wan engaging in what is quite possibly the most thrilling and exciting sword fight in all of film. For those of you interested in a career in fight choreography, this is what you can only hope to emulate. But back to the story. Luke, Leia, Han, Chewie, and the droids all manage to get back on the Falcon and escape to the rebel base of Yavin 4. And here is where we see the rebels are a ragtag group that can't even afford good carpentry to build complete walls. But yada yada, Han and Chewie decide to leave with their money.
So, you got your reward and you're just leaving then?
That's right, yeah.
While Luke, our down and out, penniless hero, who up to this point has shown no skill as a pilot besides driving a hover car and his own supposed testimony, is given control of an X-Wing. However, as bums sometimes show, the look of poverty can be deceiving, as Luke proves himself as a valiant pilot. Han even does something selfless for once and joins the fight. Han couldn't have arrived any sooner.
You're all clear, kid. Now let's blow this thing and go home.
As he saves Luke, which allows Luke to fire his torpedoes that result in the Death Star exploding. The movie culminates with an award ceremony in honor of Han, Chewie, and Luke, where Luke not only gets a medal, but finally gets some new clothes. Han also gets a medal, and because of his perpetual and perverted nudity, Chewie is not burdened with getting a medal that we all know he isn't going to wear.